pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Green.
Here.
Commissioner Canfield. Commissioner Orthwein.
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Here.
Let it also be known, present and participating is Town Manager Dunham, Assistant Town Attorney Nazaro, Chief Jones, CFO Mark Bymaster, and myself, and absent with notice is Vice Mayor Stanley.
Thank you very much. We've been presented with the minutes from our last meeting on September 13th. Are there any changes, comments, or a motion? How about a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Second. Minutes?
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein.
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. Any changes to the agenda, Mr. Dunn?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to, under the manager's comments, talk a little from up here about Halloween.
Okay, very good. Put that 9A2. Very good. Our next meeting will be November 8th at 9 a.m. for anyone who wishes to attend. Public comment. No, let's move on then. Public hearing, we have a number of applications today. Are there any ex parte communications on any of them among commission members? No, very good. Anyone who will speak today on any of the applications, please rise and be sworn. No, not working.
They won't.
Raise your right hand.
What?
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
There you go.
Eileen, you are first up.
All right, very good. The first application is 996 Pelican Lane. Good morning.
Morning. For this project, we're proposing a new seawall, a marginal dock installation, and a 24K AMF boat lift installation. Are we doing the presentation right now? I'm getting there. Just making sure.
And I'm sorry, just for the record, your name, you're Eileen?
My name is
Gonzalez.
Eileen Gonzalez, yes, and I'm the agent for Joseph Pahoda.
Very good.
Okay. Perfect. So for this project, we are doing a concrete dock installation or concrete seawall installation, a composite dock, and then we're doing a 4-post elevator boat lift. We have state and Army Corps approval for the project as of right now already, and we have submitted to the town of Gulf Stream, but we need to go through this developmental review process. We had a inspector come out, or the builders had an inspector come out before they closed a bid with the client, and Water's Edge Marine Inspections found that the seawall that is currently at the site is very distressed. There's a lot of large cracks on it, and the batter piles aren't doing their full job as of right now. They're not really supporting the seawall completely. So what we are going to do is we're going to cut half the cap of the existing seawall and then remove the batter piles that are currently there and install new batter piles to support the new cap that we are going to be pouring. And the new seawall that we're proposing is right in front of the existing, and then the cap is going to be poured to join the two together. Continuous pour all the way through, and the batter piles are going to be placed in front to support the new structure. And that is what Water's Edge Marine Inspections recommended when they did their site visit. So here we have some project details. Concrete seawall installation is going to be approximately 95 linear feet. Again, in front of the existing seawall, it is going to be installed within 18 inches per environmental regulations. The batter piles for support, as I mentioned, and then the dock installation is going to be a marginal dock 3 feet into the waterway from the seawall. And then the boat lift installation is going to be 24K AMF boat lift installation, and then per Gulfstream regulations, it won't exceed 5 feet above the seawall. So we will make sure to cut the pilings at that height or below that height. And then the vessel will not exceed 34 feet in length. I did request the vessel information from the homeowners, but it looks like they're still in the process of deciding what vessel exactly is going to go on that lift. But when they do have that information, we will make sure to add it onto the plans for city review. In terms of decking material for the dock, we are using Wear Deck composite decking, and I brought this sample for you guys to hand down. We're using barefoot sand. Sand, and then if you look in the back of that, there's some information on the type of material. It's also up here. It's super easy to install. Installs just like wood, but it's a lot stronger, a lot more durable, and you don't need to maintain it as much as you would regular wood, pressure treated. So yeah, it works a lot, and a lot of people have been using that one, and it's a material that we really push people to use. And yeah, does anybody have any questions on anything?
How's that compare to Trex?
It honestly about the same.
About the same.
Yeah, Trex, those Deco Block, and then Wear Deck. Those are like the main three ones that we use. We use Wear Deck a lot too. Oh, that is Wear Deck. Wear Deck, and then Deco Block.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What is your timing on this? in terms of-
For once the project's approved.
Mhm.
So all the barge work can be completed within a month. Honestly, the setting the batter piles and the
Okay.
setting the piles for the composite and that's setting the panels, that can all be done within like a month, which is the most noisy type of work.
And
And then-
it's not allowed after December.
Yeah, exactly. So we're trying really
Okay,
hard
okay.
once we do this to
Gotcha.
make sure that we meet that deadline, and then they're ready. As soon as we get approval, they're ready to start, get the
Okay.
barge work knocked out.
So you'll be ready to submit for a permit as soon as this is approved?
We actually are already in processing with the city, but they stopped us to do this, so we're already in queue with them, and then we should be able to push it right along. after
Sure.
this.
Did you provide additional information regarding the lifting equipment and the height?
The engineer is adding a note on there that it can exceed 5 feet from the seawall, but he's in the process of adding.
Okay,
They've been a little
understood.
bit delayed.
And then the dock plan showed that it was 14 feet from the property line. Is that going to be adjusted to meet the code, which is 15 feet?
15 feet, yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. So any approval will just be conditioned on Dina's review of the setback on the west side meeting the 15 feet, and then the lifting equipment being no higher than 5 feet above the seawall per code.
Any questions? Is there a motion, including the conditions that the town attorney just made?
I move we approve the dock or the boat lift dock and seawall at 966 Pelican Lane as described and with the conditions Trey has mentioned.
Second?
Renee?
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein?
Yes.
Mayor Morgan?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Perfect, thank you, guys.
All right, let's move on then to 2745 Avenue au Soleil. Who will be speaking on this application?
Hi, good morning. My name is Louis Blahos, landscape architect, Majestic Views. This is a disposition plan for the removal of existing trees. We are maintaining the hedges at this point on both sides during construction. And we agreed with ARB that we will also maintain the large black olive that's on the streetscape to kind of block any views. Though we are not going to proceed with the demolition at this point until next May sometime, which at that point you will have what was requested, a full landscape plan indicating what we will replace that large black olive tree, which is a messy tree with probably large oak trees on the streetscape. So at this point, we're just requesting approval as is for clearing, even though we're not, since we're in. And we will maintain the large black olive. We revised the plans to
Questions? So you plan on knocking down this home,
Correct.
seating it until next year, and then coming in with another application?
Well, we're planning on submitting next month with our full
Yeah, I was
application.
gonna say, I wondered
It's
why it's
just we
gonna take
went-
so long.
Yeah, if I could step in, Paul Pershane,
Yes,
Pershane
Paul.
Development, good morning. The intent with the owner was originally to demo the house prior to the December 1st deadline, but with timing, finishing up the plans and everything, it didn't make sense. So we're gonna go ahead and submit the new home probably in November. And, but we want to go ahead and get this since
To
we're
be ready to go and at the
Yeah.
end of the season.
Yes, so we'll have the new landscape to review for you to review prior to removal of the tree.
Great.
Yeah.
Questions? Staff? No? Is there a motion?
So can I ask one question? You're demolishing it now or no? You're
Yes.
waiting till May?
We'll be waiting till May.
Okay,
demo,
but you
yes.
want the approval to
To
demo
demo.
it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes,
That way they can go ahead and get the permitting done.
Yeah,
So that they're ready
okay.
to go.
Right.
And because they have a year to fulfill the.
Yeah, no,
what's their
okay,
right.
got it.
Now we understand.
I get it.
right.
I thought I got it.
I didn't got it.
I
It did
was
change.
trying to figure out, why are we approving this now when
Right.
you don't want to do it till May? I
The
mean, how
idea-
come you don't come in with next month with the whole, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, but,
We had already set put the application in, and the intent was to demo prior to December 1st with the homeowners, but they
because
just,
of the black olive tree.
no, nothing to do with the black olive
Okay.
tree, but they wanted to demo so that we could start construction in the beginning of the year.
Okay,
But because of timing for them, they don't want to be out of their house until May 1st.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I think I get it. Okay, do you want approval?
Yeah, why don't you?
You have three of them, Mrs.
Read a
Orthwine.
motion or two. three.
Application is submitted by, it's actually for a demolition.
There.
It's right there. Motion to approve a demolition permit to permit the demolition of the existing structure.
Second. Ms. Basil?
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwine,
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes.
And a motion to approve a land clearing permit to permit the clearing of the property of any vegetation with the exclusion of the black olive tree in the front of the property to make way for future construction.
Second. Ms. Basil?
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwine.
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes.
Motion to approve a level 3 architectural site plan to permit the demolition of existing structure, clear the property of any vegetation with the exclusion of the black olive tree in the front of that property to make way for future construction and to sod and irrigate the lot.
Second. Renee?
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwine.
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Paul, I think we're right back at you.
Yes.
2923 and 2924 Blue Water Cove.
That is So I have Neil Woods here. He is with
Sea Diversified.
Sea Diversified, and he was the engineer on the project for the bulkhead at the end of Blue Water Cove on the intercoastal, and also the revetment area that is on the Fine property. So we have received the state approvals, and it took us over 3.5 years to get the Army Corps of Engineer approval. So it's really a difficult, or how would you?
It's a long
How would you-
process.
it was
We
a
have
long
With the
process,
state
yes.
and federal permits, and I was the agent for the permitting process. So we have all the permits in hand for the FDEP and the Army Corps of Engineers for both the bulkhead, the dock, and the revetment and living shoreline with the mangrove planting area.
Could you just describe them for us, please?
Okay, to the north side is the Fine property. I guess if you go one more, yeah, all right, so you see on the north side, Fine property, and that's the existing conditions. Then the south side,
This, Blue Water Cove here and Fine Properties up here.
if you keep on going another slide or two. So here we have the location of the bulkhead, the location of the docks, You see the offset distance from the bulkhead to the 30-foot setback to the upland slab. So this is lot 7, lot 8. We have 5-foot wide docks. We have a concrete bulkhead that is more or less right in line with the mean high water. And we were able to permit this closer to the property line with the FDEP, but we were not able to permit it any closer to the property line with the Army Corps. So we pulled this side. This side came landward. The property line is all the way out here. So we're pretty far landward of the property line in all cases. And in all instances, we're 62.5 feet set back from the edge of the federal channel, which is the difficult thing to permit with the Army Corps. Any structures have to be set back from the edge, the western design edge of the federal channel. So we have concrete bulkhead with concrete ladder piles, 5-foot wide marginal dock. This is the Fine property. On the Fine property, we needed to provide mitigation for the removal of some black and red mangroves. So on the Fine property, we have these 2 mangrove planters, which are combined about 1,400 square feet. They'll be planted with 1 foot or 1.5 foot staggered red and black mangroves. So both here and here will be planted. And the rest of this is all rock revetment. So it's going to be rock revetment sloping on the natural grade from +6 down into the water, and it'll continue into the water on a 1 on 2.5 slope. And then here we have about 100-foot wide barge landing for the Fine access. If they ever want to use their property to load or unload or whatever they need to do. And here we have a cross section of the mangrove planter area. So the mangroves will be protected by a low crested permeable breakwater that has a height elevation that's just above mean high water. And then here we have the rock revetment on the back. The area in between the low crested breakwater is all going to be filled with the spoils and the sand. And then we'll plant the mangroves inside that area.
So you're relocating those mangroves?
They won't be relocated. I don't think it'll be possible to extract the mangrove, keep it alive, and relocate it. There'll be new mangroves will be planted that are already propagated, and they'll probably be about 18 inches or so when they're planted. The little starter fertilizer pack.
It's a major project. I don't envy you having to
It
deal
is a
with
major
the
project. It took
federal
years to
government on this.
permit. Like Paul said, we took about 3 years to permit with the Army Corps. And one of the challenging things was that the Army Corps, so the state, we got the state permit first, about a year prior to the Army Corps permit. And the state wanted physical mitigation. So we went through this whole process of designing this mitigation bank and getting an approved mitigation plan and providing 5 years of mitigation and all this planting. And then a year later, the Army Corps says, well, we don't care about physical mitigation. Just buy mitigation credits from our mitigation bank. So we had to do mitigation credits at the Army Corps, and the Army Corps said, we don't care if you have physical mitigation. We don't have the personnel to go out there and monitor it and see if you actually do it. That's basically why. 20 years ago, the Army Corps would have said that we want to see physical mitigation. Today, they don't care. So the Army Corps said, buy these mitigation credits, and the state said, provide physical mitigation. So we have 2 forms of mitigation. So yeah, it was very challenging.
So you had to buy?
We had to purchase mitigation credits from a mitigation bank.
Okay.
That's the way, there's the Everglades Mitigation Bank is a state-approved mitigation bank for this drainage. So we had to purchase those credits through this process with the state.
Is it expensive?
I didn't pay for it, so.
Yes.
I'm sure it is.
I'll answer yes.
I think it's very expensive.
Okay, I gotta look this at Google. Will it be in Google?
Being a mitigation bank or having a mitigation bank, it seems like a very unique position to be in.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's very interesting. I never knew so much about it, for this process.
Well, we don't want to hold you up any more
Yeah,
than
go ahead.
the federal government has. Any questions regarding this application? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve level 3 architectural site plan to permit the installation of the bulkhead and revetment per the Army Corps of Engineer approved plans excluding docks.
Second. Ms. Basil?
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwyne?
Yes.
Mayor Morgan?
Yes. Thank
Good
you
luck.
very much. Good luck with that. Paul, you're back at it, 2923 Blue Water Cove.
Yes. So I have Felicia with Affinity Architects that will present lot 7.
Hello, good morning. I'm Felicia O'Neill. So I'm presenting lot 7. So lot 7, the home is in an Anglo-Caribbean style. The first slide we see our front rendering elevation. The next slide, you'll see our where our site is located on the Intracoastal. The next slide, we've provided a master site plan where you can see all the homes in Blue Water Cove along with their renderings. And these homes are approved or under construction right now. The next slide, you'll see our site plan with all our calculations. They all comply with the standards. The next slide is our floor plan. And then we move on to the next slide, which presents all the materials and color selections. Further, we move into our rear rendering. And then the next slide, you have our 2D front and rear elevations. The next slide has our side elevations. And that concludes the architectural presentation part. Does anyone have any questions?
I was looking for shutters.
So we have shutters on the front and the rear. The other windows and doors that do not have shutters, there's not space for shutters. So the architectural articulation is a banding around the doors and windows.
So there's no shutters on the rear elevation.
We do have on the rear elevation, on the front on the rear balcony at the top, we have the shutters up there.
Must just be the drawing, I'm sorry.
A6 has, yeah,
Yeah.
A6.
Couldn't
is,
see them. Oh, yeah.
And on the sides, we have the shutters on the second floor.
Oh, okay, good.
And on the ground floor on the side. The other slides are going to be presenting the site plan with the landscape, and I can call Louis Blahos and he can describe the site.
Any other questions about the design of the home before we move on to landscaping? No?
Thank you.
No? Thank you.
Hi, Louis Blahos, landscape architect, Majestic Views. Basically, the landscape in the front of the house, there's 2 existing streetscape oaks that are there. We are also, because it is a pie lot, it's kind of tight, and then the driveway and garage, to reduce the visibility and anything to that, we added 2 large sea grape trees on either side of the entry of the driveway. Centered with the driveway coming in is a large specimen Senegal date, clustered date palm as a focal point. And basically foundation planting, 2 small entry walls on either side. And then Japanese blueberries on the garage front elevation, and on the other side, just kind of adding to the architectural elements of the building. There's an 8-foot hedge that we're continuing, calophyllum hedge that we're continuing from the south side to the north and west. That'll be at 8 feet at time of installation. In the rear, other than the foundation plantings, which are, and again, we can go into the elevation, we have large 25, 30-foot coconuts, and the 4 smaller palms there are on the seawall, and they're large 16 to 18-foot foxtail palms. That said, there is a hedge to screen the 24-inch retaining wall, podocarpus hedge, and trying to provide privacy on the south and north property, but also keep the views open to the water. That's it. Any questions?
Questions on landscaping? Joan, anything?
No. You're bringing in the coconuts that tall, or are they there?
No, we're bringing them in.
Are you?
Yes.
No, very good. It's an interesting design. You've got the pool deck on the east side of the pool with grass.
Correct.
I kind of like it.
Yes.
But the access then is from the loggia, I believe. I mean, you don't want to be stepping off the house.
Correct. That's the only area that we have a connection to the pool that's paved.
It was different color.
And then the sun deck area is right there, which is right next to the seawall, and it's a 24-inch seating wall that basically separates the pool from the sun deck that's in front of it.
Yeah, right. Good.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting.
It's just different. Okay. Any questions?
Oh, nice looking project.
All right, very good. Staff? Motions?
There's only one, isn't there? Motion to approve level 3 architectural site plan based on a finding that construction of the 6,967 square foot Anglo-Caribbean style 2-story single-family dwelling with a 3-car garage, swimming pool, including new landscape, hardscape, and dock meets the minimum intent of the design manual and applicable review standards with the following conditions. 1 is any minor modification to the approved landscaping shall be submitted to the town manager for review and approval, and any major modification shall be brought back to the ARPB for review and approval prior to the commencement of landscaping.
Second that.
Ms. Basil?
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein?
Yes.
Mayor Morgan?
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to town manager's report, CIP update. Mr. Dunn.
So what's happening right now? Basically, what's happening right now was supposed to be done at the end of last week, but because of the weather and, we didn't allow construction for 2 days. They're basically a week behind what I would have been reporting to you today. So next week, the goal is for them to be able to flush the water mains on Old School on Wednesday, and then on Thursday do a pressure test on them, and that's what they are required to do before they can put a lift of asphalt on. So I spoke with them this morning, and so I said it would really be nice to have a lift of asphalt on Old School before Halloween. And so I'm gonna just nag them to death to make sure that they can get that done. But there's a few things they have to do, like I say, before they can put the put the asphalt on it. Today they are milling on Gulfview, and they are putting curbs in on the the south side of Polo. So that's their activities up to now.
Once they get the first lift on, is that of sufficient strength to handle construction vehicles?
That's what they say. I mean, it won't, but it won't, the difference is it won't be smooth. You know, it'll be a little more rough,
Okay.
but it's certainly not like it is now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lift of asphalt will, don't you think the first lift will handle?
Yes, for the term that they're gonna be operating
Right.
on that area, it should be
Yeah.
sufficient.
So,
All right, good. Well, that then leads us into item 2 under the town
Yes.
manager's report.
and that is a discussion of Halloween. As you know, we've got Polo, which is, I mean, the whole street is under construction. And so, you know, there's random potholes and you know, where they've cut the road. So I wanted to have a discussion with everybody to determine if we felt like it would be safe for parents and kids to walk up and down Polo. Now I don't know what shape it'll be in come Halloween. What's that? 2.5 weeks from now, 3 weeks.
I think David talked about having Gulfstream Road as the Halloween
I
town.
mean, yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Well, that's certainly an option because there's no construction on it.
Do you know?
Do you
know
want-
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Michael, do you want to tell, I mean, I know, but do you want to tell them what the new thought is?
Can you go to the microphone, Mr. Glennon?
Sorry. Michael, just identify yourself for the record.
Sure. Michael Glennon, Gulfstream, live in Gulfstream. My understanding is that there wasn't plan, or the Halloween plan is not to use Polo because I think it just folks are too concerned about, like, especially in the dark, both adults and parents, you know, you could step into something and kind of fall over. So I think my understanding is that the plan is to have set up kind of tables on Gulfstream and then potentially also have people potentially even go down Oleander, you know, in the back where there's, you know, which is can be more or less protected as a single road, and not to utilize Polo for either trick or treating, and then, you know, usually we have that like block party down by the end of Old School. That's also not going to be used this year for that.
I mean, if they have a lift of asphalt down on there, I mean, it certainly could. I mean, it would.
Yeah, I mean,
render it
I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to get out in front of my wife on that, so
I think
smart
for planning
enough to do that.
purposes, they were trying to plan it in the block. I mean, and maybe close down. It's up to the police. Have you heard this?
No.
Okay, no. I'll let you be surprised later today. No, they were thinking of having it in front of that block and having their block party right there.
Yeah.
I can tell them if the police are okay with that.
We'll work with you on whatever kind of arrangement you want. And we just need to know well enough in advance so we can make planning arrangements to have adequate staff to do it.
Yeah, they were hoping to have Halloween still, but on that one scale and
Yeah.
to keep it over on the side of Gulfstream Road.
So are we
that-
negating the Olivia Lyons request?
What?
Well, so we did have a suggestion by Olivia Lyons, but this been 2 or 3 weeks ago.
It was last week.
Last
She
week,
requested.
like I said, 2 or 3 weeks ago. But her suggestion was that we perhaps utilize the town hall parking lot for maybe a food truck and I don't know, maybe trunk or treating.
She wanted it used for what they normally do at the end of Right Way.
Yeah.
Okay, so a party. I mean,
I don't know.
I think my understanding is that was a request, but also whether, like, how that would conform to any sort of construction vehicles that are there, you know, overnight, or kind of how it's staged for
Yeah.
road project, whether those two things conform to one another.
Well, I mean, we would have the gate shut to get on the north side of the,
I think if a food truck, I'm sure the school, I mean, if that became an option too, but I think that they are talking about just keeping it within that block, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, yeah, you were trying to stay, I mean, my understanding
keep
is
it
that
a
the
little more-
idea is, yeah, to keep, as Ms. Orthwine said, to keep it constrained to
But
Gulfstream
you've got a
versus Polo
group that's
this
on
year.
top of this, that's planning for it. The question was,
Yeah,
do we
Katie,
officially
Anna.
shut down Polo Drive and the finger roads? Or, from what I gather, let's just let the residents make the decision as to where to have the party.
Yeah, but I think we do
where
not
their
want
kids can
people
trick or treat.
Yeah, we do not want people trick or treating. My understanding is that
Okay.
we do not want people trick or treating
So
on
there
Polo.
won't be
given
trick or treating on Polo or the finger roads?
I think that's the plan, just given that,
Okay.
darkness, like people won't be able to drive their golf carts, the conditions that we want to isolate it to Gulfstream.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like this idea much better than the town trying to
Right.
enforce some sort of closure.
Well, I think Anna's got it.
Yeah, Anna.
They got it.
I think Anna's got
Sounds
it.
like-
As long as the police are okay with this.
We're not going to hold you to anything, Mike.
Yeah, please don't.
And close that. And also there was some talk about, since we're talking about this, the construction trucks, like being off the road by 5 o'clock or 4:30 that day. Off
Okay.
Gulfstream Road.
sure.
I mean, just for the little kids, because sometimes they fly down the road. Is that
Okay, yeah.
is that
we
reasonable?
can-
Just
we
that
can-
one day
we
to
can
do that?
Make that requirement, of course.
I mean, 4:30, 4:45.
Yeah.
What time do they go out? Like
Yeah.
5?
Yeah, I think like the earliest you'll see is kind of 5 o'clock, but usually like 5:30.
Yeah.
5:36 is kind of when it gets when it gets
No,
going.
Why don't we
We
steer
can
it more
show
toward
them.
5:30 so that, because I could see even if we tell them to be off by 5, running a little late. I'd rather be safe for the kids. Maybe 5:15. Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah, that's
To the
usually,
extent you can relay that information to.
yeah, that's usually when, I mean, that more or less
Yeah.
conforms to when the trick or treating starts anyway.
He has a direct line. How long do these people work? Because a lot of times by 4 o'clock, they're closing up the road and it seems
That was
like
when
they're
they had to be
gone.
done by 5. Now we've put it to 6, so they're staying an
Yeah.
hour later. Yep.
Because sometimes I don't see them there at 6. Is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
they are shutting down early.
Okay.
I mean, because they know they can't start another activity that's going to take them beyond closing. So that might be around 4 o'clock or 4:30.
Yeah.
It's
because-
dependent on the project they're doing
Yeah.
that day.
So Halloween, we're going back to 5 o'clock for closing of work, which means they'll start around 4:15.
Yeah, we'll make
Just
sure they start
encourage them to
shutting
be
down.
done and
Sooner
trying to wrap it up by
rather than later.
4:30 and it'll be fine. But is there anything else?
No, that's good.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like this much better. Great. All right, ARPB meeting is October 17th at 8:30 a.m. Finance report, Mr. Dunham.
Yes, the report that you have, the financials represent the whole 12 months ending September 30th. Although we'll probably have some invoices coming in, over the next couple of months that will be paid out of last year's budget. So the numbers that you see aren't quite finished yet, but Mark I remember Rebecca always used to come in November with a budget amendment.
Yes, if any budget amendments are needed, we will need to do it in November because
there's
do it within 60 days.
right.
of year end.
Right. So
we'll come to that.
We're not sure if we'll have to do that yet.
Any questions on the finance or water budgeting reports for Mark or the town manager? No, very good. Let's move on then to Chief Jones. Activity report.
Mayor,
I'm sorry.
I failed to, under my report, congratulate the police department and the leadership of the chief and the deputy chief for keeping all these guys under control here in town hall and in the police department overnight and keeping everybody safe. I guess the most excitement that we had was when a boat came ashore Wednesday afternoon, about 3:30.
with about 11 unwelcome guests.
Yeah.
Who were promptly arrested.
How did you know they were coming? I mean.
We didn't.
Oh, well, I mean,
They didn't call us or
did
anything.
they didn't call you up?
If you were overhead that day watching down upon this area, you just saw cops running in all kinds of
Yeah.
different directions. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, we had Boynton Beach was here, Delray was here. I don't know if Ocean Ridge
So
came.
you saw the boat before it got ashore?
No.
No.
Explain to her how. we
Yeah,
found
so
out.
ultimately on Wednesday, early afternoon, we were flagged down by some folks who were on the beach who told us that a boat had come ashore and that they believed approximately 20 people had gotten off the boat and had run in obviously different directions, which is what led us to believe immediately that it was probably an immigration-related landing. So we had obviously a number of staff here who were setting up town hall and whatnot. And some of the defendants actually ran directly down here, not realizing they were coming into the arms of police officers. And then the remaining ran south on the beach, as well as tried to bunker down in some of the vegetation along the shoreline on the beach. We requested assistance from Boynton Beach Police Department and Delray Beach Police Department because of the number of people that were coming off the boat. Both agencies were here extremely quickly and provided a lot of assistance. That particular day was kind of windy, so we couldn't request assistance from a helicopter or any kind of aviation resource. But we were able to define that there were approximately 11 people who actually came off the boat, not 20, and all 11 were taken into custody and transported to Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Riviera Beach. So.
What happens to them then?
Apparently, from the update we gathered, 3 were criminally charged for smuggling and or re-entry after they had been deported previously, and the others were processed as immigrants, which means they go through a series of opportunities to explain why they're here and whether or not they need to remain here or be sent back to wherever they're from. Okay. Looks like this group came primarily from the Dominican Republic. So.
And I'll just add to finish this off. We met with CETO yesterday, and this is not one of those where there are 2 tugboats can go put a rope on it and pull it off the shore. It's 3 or 4 feet in under sand, and they're going to have to come out and dig it out.
Oh.
And so it's going to be there.
No, it's gone.
Oh, did they get it yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
By the end of the day yesterday, the boat has been removed.
Okay. He wasn't sure whether they could do it in one day.
They used a boat and a backhoe, and that was how they were able to get it floating again.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, just following up with what the town manager said, we really are grateful to the police department and to the town manager as well. But many people may not realize when a storm is coming, certainly one like this of such projected severity, the entire police department camps out right here. Overnight, away from their families. Their families could be in harm's way. They stay here to protect us, to be there to clear roads, to address any emergencies that occur. I mean, it's a tremendous sacrifice, personally, if you think about it. So we're very grateful to all your police officers for doing that.
Thank you. So I would ask that Mayor and Commissioners that you accept the report as submitted. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. It was a pretty rainy month, so activity is a little slower than normal, but that's just by virtue of the weather. And we did have one criminal incident that took place. However, all the suspects associated with that case were apprehended after a short pursuit to the Florida Everglades. So that pretty much wraps up the only activity we had this month that was criminal in nature.
Questions? No. If not, thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Let's move on to items for commission action. The Palm Beach County Police Benevolent Association fiscal year. Something or other.
Thank you, Mayor. So we're heading into the final year of our initial union contract. It was for 3 years, but because the town wanted to remain flexible with annual pay raises provided to our officers, we agreed with the PBA to discuss officer salaries every year. This agreement has been presented to and approved by our officers and reflects the budget approved by the commission as presented by the town manager based on what Chief Jones felt was in the best interest of his department. That includes, if you look at that memorandum of understanding, an increase in the night shift differential from $1 per hour to $2.50 per hour, an increase in each officer's pay by 4%, which is the same as received by town hall staff, and in addition to that, a $4,000 adjustment. These changes have already been made in the payroll system, and the officers are already receiving this benefit. However, the union did not arrange for a vote on the agreement until after our last commission meeting, so this is why it's being approved after October 1st. So we just need a motion to approve this.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before as well. Questions? If not, is there a motion to approve this memorandum of understanding?
I'll move to approve the motion that Trey just said.
Second that. Renee?
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein,
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. Let's go on to the engagement letter with Nolan Holton Minor.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an extension of our current agreement with Nolan Holton Minor for contract CFO services under the terms of our original agreement dated December of 2022. It is to be renewed annually upon mutual agreement of the parties. There is no change in price. It is just a continuation of our existing relationship with them.
Very good. Assume it's all approved. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the letter of engagement from Nolan Holt Minor.
Second?
Ms. Basil?
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein,
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. Anything by commissioners for the good of the order?
I just have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a question. We have Code Red, and like sometimes we have criminal activity and the word gets around the community. And is there a way to tell? I don't think this is a Code Red situation, but there is a way to tell people what's going on so it's factual and not lots of chatting.
Yes, so we do have the ability to send out messages. Obviously, that's a discretionary decision from you all as the governing body. If you'd like for that to be utilized to do that, we can. We typically have reserved Code Red for emergency situations to make you aware to stay in your home or that there's some pending issue that we need, to make you aware of. But obviously, if that's something you would like for us to do pending, some incident like that,
Yeah,
or
I don't know. I mean, I'm asking your opinion.
in most of the cases we've seen over the last 18 months that I've been here, I don't think most of them would justify a Code Red, to be honest with you. In the landing situation, had we not had the number of resources that we needed as quickly as we did, we would have used Code Red for that, just to get everybody alert and vigilant, secure in your home to pay attention and help us know, where folks are traveling. But because we had, wrapped it up so quickly, I didn't even think it was necessary to send out a Code Red in that situation. I typically will notify the mayor with issues like that and Rob on the Place au Soleil side. So they kind of have the opportunity when those false narratives start to come up. If they hear about it, they can kind of, put an end to it a little bit by having more factual information. But really, it's a decision that I kind of need some guidance from you on whether you would like to see as the governing body that information go out via Code Red, or even potentially if we would like to set up an email blast. You just have to remember the public records laws and, so.
Well, I just, instead of disinformation, I like correct information. So it's just something that, to think about going forward instead of disinformation.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we can talk about, email opportunities to do something like that.
I don't know. What do you think, Michael? Do you have any thoughts on this?
I think that you're going to have the town chattering happening regardless. I mean, I think there's a balance between, sending out the right information and kind of getting people needlessly activated about something that probably isn't worthy of that. So I think there are probably situations where it's like, hey, there's a situation ongoing, please, something, or please stay in your homes or be vigilant or something like that. But I think
it can get to be overused.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. I'm not talking overuse.
Well, I know that, but I think some cities probably do that. And So,
And most police investigations do not wrap up this quickly and need to be kept
Sure, yeah.
more low key.
Yeah.
So I think we had addressed the issue of code red once before. Excuse me, we had used it for something that
right.
was
I
more like
remember
that, and we decided no, it should be for emergencies only.
And we report all this at least once a month, from here, so.
And I encourage anyone in town to call. If you have questions
Yeah,
about please
the
call
chief
us. We'll be more than happy to
Yeah.
talk to you about it and tell you anything that we can about what's happening.
I like the email. Like, I think that having some sort of like email or more like consistent communication on email, I think that's a very good idea.
I think some people knew what was going on with the boat situation.
Yeah.
And everyone's going, what's going on? And you're going, I don't know.
I'll say the email communication from chief when things happen in Plaza Soleil has been helpful. If people see extra police activity, it's what you're talking about. There's the chatter.
Yeah.
So I'll send a note out to the HOA and kind of puts it
Interesting.
to rest right away.
Yeah.
He sends a nice recap with all the facts and that's it. And
I just
Yeah.
like to
yeah,
finish up that speculation.
example, last week, I think it was last week, the incident in Tradewinds.
Correct.
When multiple agencies got involved and there was a ton of police activity
Really?
that people
Yeah.
noticed. So
Okay. That's all.
Yep. No, good. Very good. Anything else from the commission? If not, thank you all for coming. Meeting's adjourned.